Welcome to this week's video from Delhi Sustainable Farms. This week our video is featuring moving the cows from start to finish. We have done a few videos showing different aspects of building fence and moving the cows from pasture to pasture, but we haven't showed the entire process from start to finish, so here it is. Right now I'm down in the shade. Now you can see me starting to come out. I have attached the handle of the reel to the fence down there, and I'm dragging the wire across the field to create the new paddock for the cow. When I come down to this side of the field, I will hook the reel onto the wire down here, put the alligator clips on it so we can have electric, and then we'll start putting fence posts in. As you can see, our four-wheeler is more of a workhorse than a recreational vehicle. We keep all of our step-in posts in the back of it, we hang reels off of it, and any necessary tools that we may need in that box. The front platform of the four-wheeler also flips up and has some storage in it where we keep some items as well. Now I'm going to turn around and start putting the step-in posts along the wire that I had just unreeled. There's really no rhyme or reason as to how far apart the fence posts go in, but just by using prior experiences, and you can tell how high the wire is off the ground, you can kind of tell where to put the posts in. We try to keep the posts at about at the nose level of the cows. That way, if they walk up close to it, their nose is going to be the first thing to hit it, and it will back them off of the fence. As I had mentioned in the video where we demonstrated building the fence, for each herd of animals we use the different posts. So for the cows, they're way more used to being moved and having a temporary single electric wire keeping them in their pen, so they don't need the metal posts. They're less likely to break off these plastic posts. Occasionally it will happen, but it's very infrequent, and the plastic posts are more economical for us as farmers. This video is not sped up at all, so the amount of time that it takes this video to play is about how long it takes to move the cows on a regular basis. To be more efficient, usually the person building the fence will start at one end like you saw me do, come down, go back, and as soon as you get done putting the last post in, you can immediately just drive right over to where the cows are, start calling them, and they are usually ready by that time to be moved. So you can see me traveling along the wood line over to where the cows are. This particular grass you see is our sorghum Sudan grass. This is usually what we use to finish our larger animals on to put more fat on them. It's a very high sugar, high protein content grass that we do plant in here. This particular field on this farm, we usually plant in the Sudan grass, cut it for hay, and this is near the end of the summer, and so the cows do get to eat it down one last time. So we're able to utilize this grass in this specific pasture twice for two totally different reasons. Now you can see that I have come to where the beginning of the previous fence is, and I'm calling the cows as I'm walking over to the reel. They usually know exactly what time it is when I'm doing this, and they're usually extremely eager to come over and see me. As you can see now, I am emptying their water tank, which have been featured in a prior video as well. As I'm waiting for them to come up to me, it's most efficient to use your time to empty the water tanks and get it ready to move while they're coming to where they're going to be moved. So now you can see that I have the reel, and I'm calling them a little bit more to make sure they're ready, and I'm rolling up the reel, and you'll see them run in. This particular day was a little bit warmer, and there were some cows that didn't want to come out of the shade, so I do struggle a little bit to get all the cows through, but they eventually will come. As you can see, they're super eager to get into that new fresh grass, And this process of rotational grazing allows the grass where they just were and the pasture they just were to have some recovery time and helps them regenerate. This regenerative cycle that the grass goes through allows them to grow deeper root systems and allows your pastures and grasses to survive more during hot weather as their root systems go deeper into the ground and can pull up more of that groundwater. We love watching the cows run into a new paddock of this the sorghum Sudan grass, because you can see that they'll start pulling up the leaves, and they have big long leaves usually sticking out of their mouths that they'll just suck right in and start chewing up. It's always fun to watch them do that. So as you can see, I'm in the background there also trying to get the rest of the cows to get out of the shade and move into the new grass. This is usually very rarely a problem, but occasionally on the hotter days it can be. Usually they're all super eager and right there at the fence ready to move in. So it's kind of unusual for this. So actually this video is a little bit longer moving the cows than what it usually is. This video is taken right about in the middle of our calving season, so you can hear all of the little baby calves mooing for their mothers. The grass is usually taller than they are, so they usually make a lot more commotion for the first 20 to 30 minutes as they're trying to re-find their mothers, who are more preoccupied with eating the fresh grass than they are with their babies. So you can hear the calves in the background. There's probably only about half of them born at this point in the calving season. The calves and cows also like the rotational grazing system we use because the calves are easily more able to hide in the taller grass in the paddocks in front of them. This kind of provides a little more protection and security for the young calves, and usually for the first week of their life we can barely ever find them. We usually just let them be, and eventually they will come back into the herd and stick with the herd and not go underneath the fences anymore. Now you can see that I finally got all of the calves and cows moved into the new fresh grass, and you can see me in the background going over to their mineral feeder and getting ready to drag that over to the new paddock as well. We always keep mineral in front of our cows so they can get whatever elements and mineral substances they need that they can't get from the grass or the dirt itself. In this particular instance, the mineral feeder was being a little bit difficult and actually unhooked itself from the four-wheeler. You'll see that here in a second. So you just gotta back up and redo it again. It just takes a little bit more time. So again, this moving of cows wasn't the most efficient video, but still in the 12 minutes it takes for this video, you can see that it's not that difficult. We usually keep the mineral feeder pretty close to the water tank. There's really no rule for where it's supposed to be, but we figure if the cows have to walk by it, they're more likely to stop and get the minerals that they do need out of it. So keeping it next to the water tank, usually having a higher traffic area, they're more likely to utilize that. Now I'm just backing out of the paddock, back through where I have let the fence down. Then I will put the fence back up and move the water tank. Usually we have hydrants pretty close to every paddock. For sure enough hose that we can make sure the cows have plenty of water no matter where they are. So I'm emptying the water tank now, and then I will move it to its new location, turn the water back on, and put up the fence, and then I will then go over back to the back fence that the piece that the cows had come from, and I will start taking that fence down. So overall, it's a pretty quick process. The tricky part usually is making sure your water tank is level and not going to have water run out of it constantly and make a muddy mess everywhere. So that's about the hardest part. Otherwise, it's just one of the daily routines on the farm. So you can see all the little baby calves, they're all happy and the cows are happy, and we just like to utilize this rotational system because it's a lot more sustainable than the traditional ways of moving cows and raising cows. So that's the entire process of moving the cows. As we pan back over, you can see they're all extremely happy and eating as much as they can, as quickly as they can. So this process, after you move the cows, they usually mosey their way all the way down to the opposite end of the pasture and will come all the way back. It usually takes about 15 minutes, and so you can pretty much mark it on a stopwatch that they will be back to the water in about 15 minutes. Thanks for subscribing to this week's video. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel below. That way you can stay up to date on everything that's happening. If you have any other ideas that you'd like to see about things happening around the farm, be sure to comment those as well, and we'll try to make sure we get a video of that. You all have a great week, and we'll see you again next week.